Hello students, and I welcome you all to the English class. Today you will watch a video and understand a narrative poem titled After Blenheim, written by Robert Southey. This poem is about an old man narrating the story of a war to his two grandchildren. Let's take a quick glance at Robert Southey, who was an English poet of the Romantic school, and he was also a poet laureate for last 30 years. His biography of Horatio Nelson was adapted for the film Nelson in 1926. He is the most famous children's classic, and his classic story is the story of the three bears. Robert Southey was a biographer, historian, and a poet as well. It is summer evening, and old Caspar, who is the grandfather, he is sitting outside his cottage after completing his work. Next to him was a patch of land that was covered with green grass. Here the word green refers to the patch of land. Patch of land. So he was sitting beside the patch of land that was covered with green grass, and his grandchild Wilhelmine was playing there. He was playing this. The word spotted is playing. If you can look at this word spotted, it means playing. He was playing there. So Wilhelmine saw her brother Peterkin bringing something that was large and round, which he found while playing beside the rivulet. The word rivulet refers to a stream. So he found it when he was playing near the stream. The boy was unaware of the object, which was smooth and round, and he brought it casually to his grandfather. Old Caspar took the object from the boy, who stood expectant. Expectant here means he was waiting curiously. He was waiting curiously. So he was waiting curiously to know what the object was. And it tells the faith the little boy had on his grandfather. The grandfather shook his head and took the skull, and he felt sorry and was very sad to see the skull. He said the poor skull must be of a soldier who died in the great victory that was the Battle of Blenheim. Caspar says he finds such skulls regularly when he ploughs in the garden, and it is a common occurrence when the garden is ploughed regularly, daily. It is the teeth of the plough that brings them out of the soil. So the plowshare here refers to the teeth of the plough. So the plowshare, it brings the skull, as there were many skulls that were found or traced in the garden. So it these plowshare bring them out on the soil. The field is plowed to get nourishment. But how can the field get nourishment when there are so many skulls that are buried under the soil? The poet reminds us that though the war took place long ago, the effects are still felt and are visible. He tells no one he tells that not one or two but thousands have been killed and slain in the battlefield. Caspar became excited thinking about the war and the famous victory. He started telling about the war that was between the French and the English, and the English had won the war. The French could not understand why the war was fought. However, Caspar quickly added that it was a famous victory, and everyone said and believed about the great battle that was fought between these two countries. The poet uses the word but is used here to signify and tell what the battle was about. And it is neither remembered nor does anyone know about the battle, but everyone believes that the battle was a great one. The people and the common man blindly follows what the other tells them, and they are the ones who believe that it was a great and a famous victory. That was the battle that was fought between the French and the English. Caspar was a child when the war was fought. He says that his father lived in Blenheim near the water stream. The enemy had set his house on fire. The word dwelling here refers to house. So the house was set on fire. And he remembers that it was completely burnt, and his father had to run away with his mother when Caspar was a child, and they could not find any place or shelter for themselves. Please look into the line. The word fire and sword refers to killing. The word wasted refers to ruined. And the word childling refers to about to bear a child, a mother about to bear a child. So there was destruction everywhere. In the country, fields and houses were set on fire. People were killed with swords. The country suffered much destruction. Many women who were about to bear babies and newborn babies had died. It was a horrifying incident to see and hear that many innocent lives were killed. But Caspar says that such things happen and are bound to happen, they are inevitable, and that even the price was too high. The fact that it was a victory that had justified the killing, or the price that was paid when the battle was won at the end. After the war ended, the place looked terrible. It was horrible, with thousands of bodies lying all over. It was difficult to bury numerous bodies, and so they started rotting in the sun. But such things are inevitable, and when there is a victory. Caspar said the Duke of Marlborough, who was a military commander, and another commander who was a prince, was called Eugene. He had won lot of praises because of the victory. Little Wilhelmine says what was so special about the battle, and she further added that the battle was cruel and wicked. According to her, she felt that the battle was cruel and wicked. It was a cruel one, an unkind one. But Caspar said, "No, my girl, the battle was a great victory." Caspar said that the Duke was praised because of the victory. Peterkin could not understand what good came out of the war. Caspar did not have any answer to his question, but he kept on repeating that it was a famous victory. It was a great victory. So students, I hope you have all have understood the poem. If you have any doubts, please do ask in the class. Thank you for watching the video.